In this video, I'm going to go over how following my strategy made me lose out on £1,000. I'm going to cover the fact that even if you follow your plan to a T, you can still get slapped in the face by the market, and not even if it goes in the opposite direction. So I will say before this video starts and before I get into a trade breakdown that I took earlier today, that there is a free Discord below, which I'll throw up a clip in a little bit of just my daily analysis on how I post it in the morning, and then we can act on that when price opens in US session later on in the day. So without further ado, let us get started with this video. Just before we start this video, I do just want to mention this call was posted in the Discord, and I do this every single morning without fail. Every trading day you are going to get a little video or a little post in the Discord with what I'm going to be looking for that day. Price may move and you might have to adapt and adjust different zones because I do not update it later in the afternoon, but in the morning I give my analysis and we can go from there. I do give more in-depth videos on the website, however for now we're just going to stick to the free Discord. If this is of interest to you, then by all means click the link below and it'll take you to the Discord invite link. So as we jump into the chart, then you can see our analysis matches up with the Discord. So either we're looking for a break above, tap back in, and a 5-minute bullish engulfing from this zone right here, or if we open it in the middle of the zone, which we have done, if we get a tap up to this top zone, I'm going to be looking for a 5-minute bearish engulfing candle to take us potentially to the very bottom of the zone. Now, if we were to open in the middle like we are now, get a tap into this bottom of the zone, I'm going to be waiting for a 5-minute engulfing candle to take us right back to the top of the zone. Lastly, but definitely not least, if we get a break below this zone, a tap back in, 5-minute bearish engulfing again, then I want to be taking price further down. Now, in this instance, price has opened in the middle, so automatically we're looking for and we're setting alerts. I have deleted them off the screen, but if you're maybe working an office job, all you would simply do is grab a horizontal ray tool, click the, okay, we're in replay mode so we can't do it, but you would click the alarm clock right there, set the alarm. As soon as price hits that point, you're going to get a notification on your phone. You can quickly check the charts and then wait 5 minutes, hopefully get your entry candle, and then you can trade the price from there. Having these alerts will save you multiple times. Otherwise, I definitely find myself forgetting about it. So if you have a busy job, I would definitely recommend having a horizontal line there with an alert on it, especially if we've opened up in price in the middle. Even if price does open below or above these two zones here, always have one just in case price does want to come back and tap back up. A lot of times it's just going to go on without you, but on the few times it does tap in and give you a valid reaction, then you can catch a position either to the buy side or the sell side. However, in this scenario, we can see we've opened in the middle. So if we jump to the 5-minute here, and we can just move these arrows out the way because we know exactly what we're looking for. So if we just move these, and we're simply going to play price along here. So we see price breaks above, and eventually we get a break above, we get a tap back in, and lo and behold, we've had our engulfing candle. So this trade already for our entry ticks all the boxes. So therefore there is nothing stopping us now, because we've followed our plan, nothing stopping us getting into this trade. So let's say you've caught this, which we did. Your stops would be around about below the body, below the wick, and below the zone. So again, for our stop loss criteria, it ticks all three boxes. So this is just another confluence to get into the trade. So at this point, we have gone on our phones, gone on our computers, and click the buy option. Now, where do you target? Now, I do have a video on the website of how we chase price when we're at all-time highs. Because we're on all-time highs on the NASDAQ, we have to implement different strategies. So for this one, I simply set my take profit all the way up here, and I was wanting to chase price up. So if we play price along here, we can see it pushes up and creates a structure point. So immediately now, once I've seen this structure point here, I can start thinking, okay, maybe we can move to break even at some sort of point. But I want a solid structure point. So if we can come down and make one, which we have right here, then we can get in. So my stop loss was moved to around about here, and this is when price simply came down and took me out. So before price came down here, I saw this pattern here. Now the candle closed here, so I was like, perfect. We've created this structure point here. We're at all-time highs, so I'm going to be chasing this structure up. So I'm going to put my stops right around here. We see price play on, and we see we can get tapped out. Now the biggest kicker when it comes to trading is having a trade like this, at least for me. So we can see price stop me out. So I'm completely out of this trade at this point. Now, one of my rules is that we are not in a trade at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is where I close out all positions. I don't hold it. I don't do anything. But if we play price on here, we can clearly see price goes up and up and up and up. And if we just skip forward to 8 o'clock, that is a very nice 1 to 2. I was risking 2%, so it would have been about 4.5%. So I missed out on a lot of money today, and these are the realities of trading. This is what it's going to be. So if I just get this up on my phone. So in the end, if you can see just above my finger there, you can see we made $163, which is not a bad way to go. However, if you look at the money that you've lost, this is why it cost me potentially $1,000, because I simply moved and followed my plan. Now, in no situation is this a bad trade for me. When I'm journaling this trade, there is nothing I did wrong and there is nothing I would change. Unfortunately, price took off without me. It is what it is, and it happens. If I were to not follow my rules and price did what it did, and I would, made my $1,000, then yes, in the grand scheme of things, it would have been a good trade. But for me, it would have been a bad trade because I didn't follow my rules. So imagine if I moved my stop under structure point, but then price immediately shot down. I would have covered myself then and still made $163 instead of losing $500. So you can see where I'm going with this. You can lose so much more money by not following your plan. So I would have rather missed out on this and have confidently followed my plan instead of not following it and price go in the opposite direction, because I know for a fact I would not be able to live with myself for that day, knowing that I call myself a professional trader and I've done such a rookie mistake. And it's these sort of lessons you have to learn and adapt. There's going to be many cases where you see prices like this and you go into the next trade and you're like, well, last time price took off without me, I'm not going to move my stop. When you get into that habit, then you start losing more trades, and then it all becomes a complete cycle all over again. So follow your rules, follow your plans. Today, like I say, it was still a winning day because we didn't lose anything. However, unfortunately, it cost me a lot of money following my plan. However, following my plan will save me so much more money in the long run if I just follow it instead of hoping for the best. So hopefully a little lesson is learned here with this little breakdown. Like I say, this strategy is very, very simple. There's not much to it when we're trading the NASDAQ and US 30. I like to keep it simple on those pairs because that's all you need to do. A lot of people complicate it, but the reality is you don't need to do that. And again, chasing all-time highs, we do have a strategy for that as well. So unfortunately today it didn't play out. However, in the long run, it definitely will do. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it acted as sort of a lesson in a sense where you may have had a trade run away from you, but you still can class it as a good trade if you followed everything in your plan and your strategy. if you've had a winning trade and you didn't follow your plan or strategy, you cannot call that a good trade because you didn't follow any of your plans or rules. So you have to look at it two sort of ways. But always follow your plan, always follow your strategy, because if it works and you've done the testing, then I can guarantee in the long run it's definitely going to pay off for you guys. But thank you so much for watching. Any feedback, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.